Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, all are welcome here because it's showtime. Hi guys. Something a little different tonight. I will be starting a new character and walking through advice for new players and enjoying adult leisure beverages. So, you will have to choose a server. I would sort by ping and then population. So I'm in the West. These are the Western servers. They're all at medium or more. I'm going to choose the anomaly. And let's see, one of the low busyness sieges. Cathib. Siege Cathib. No, the first one. Maybe they're sorting by lowest to highest, in which case we'll go with Rajifiri. Siege Rajifiri. If you're going to be playing with friends, you don't have to be on the same siege to play together.
Approach prisoner.
You can transfer to each other's temporarily, each other's sieges, but you do have to be on the same server. I'll skip the cutscenes. I will use an import. Save a little time. You can create your characters offline, save them, and oh my, that's a handsome fellow. Really, very, very handsome. Distinguished. Seems intelligent, but, you know, not overly cerebral. We'll go with Lens. How's that strike you? I have played through the opening tutorial, so I probably should go through it. I suggest that you use the locked research menu the first time through, at least. Since I'm doing
Have
this
they
for...
told you what I am? Then I will... Where were you born?
You can choose any place you like. The dialogue trait and emote. The emotes are unique. The dialogue trait pops up in certain dialogue you'll have with characters, but I don't believe it actually changes anything in any substantial way.
The heart of the Imperium.
The Emperor.
The heart of... The Order of the Imperium is rooted in the Farfreluches. A place for every man, and every man in... Did you give bad advice?
I'm,
or make a bad deal?
Former noble,
to be close to... You had a mentor
now,
in
here's
your
the
youth,
first strong
trained by one of
recommendation.
the schools.
Do not
Who
choose
was
Trooper.
your mentor?
Not that Trooper isn't perfectly good, but you run into a Trooper trainer very early, a couple of hours into the game, and one quest for him will unlock the Trooper tree, so you'll have access to 2 trees. None of the other trees are anywhere near as easy to open as the Trooper tree. Choose one of the others, the one that appeals most, and know that you'll have the Trooper tree open in a couple of hours. I'm going to go with a Bene Gesserit here, I think.
Yes, I have heard of our sisters giving the test is
I have
almost
spoken truth.
Come here.
I'm going to skip cutscenes wherever I can. You probably want to watch them so you get some background for the story. The ship I was in got shot down by a dude with a rocket launcher. This guy is carrying a suspicious-looking rocket launcher. He has dragged me to safety, and this is me. And this is where you start. A Shai Hulud grant you safe passage as well. Oh, man. I shouldn't have had the burritos. Oh, God. Alright. Frem kit. We open the crafting menu, make a scrap metal knife. And that's as easy it is to get your first weapon. It'll automatically equip into the 1 slot. You have 8 hot slots. Hot key slot, hot bar. Keys on the hot bar. Cut the moisture seal. And I am dehydrated. So you can find flowers like this in a lot of places in the world. But you can only drink up to a third of your full hydration. Hydration is, in the lower left corner there. You can see the bar a little bit under. So these are very important because early on you are going to be kind of fighting for water. Gather up some plant fiber. Make a heal kit. I'm starting a new character to sort of talk any new players through some helpful hints and advice and the like. So yeah, I started all the way, including the tutorial. Oh, he wants me to use a heal kit, so I will. There we go. Climbing is pretty straightforward and easy. Now we can hydrate all the way up to 1/3. If you're below 1/3 and you come upon plants and you're low enough to drink any of the dew, do so. As keeping an eye on your water is no joke in this game. Food, not really a problem. Water is definitely a problem. This is Arrakis. How you doing, Willie? Again, I'll be skipping the cutscenes.
Twin comets in the sky.
You mentioned
There's
escape.
A way through the
Tell me
barrier.
what
We're
to
going to
do.
need one of their protocol. That's where you. If you
As
can
I
sit
said,
back, he's a
I'm
noble.
gonna skip through these. Enter the
They're
ship,
not
find the
allowed to
captain,
let them
activate the
die.
transmitter.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Take now. Go.
I'll go. Sunstroke. You can
Stick
see
to the shadows, Offworlder.
The sun
The
meter
heat of the
will
sun
pop
is
up.
deadly to the unprepared.
It'll pop up sort of in the middle screen. There it is. That's the sunstroke meter. You don't want it to get too red or bad things start to happen. Your water consumption goes way up. Eventually you take damage. It's just not great. I'm going to make myself a couple more bandages just in case. While things are crafting, you can keep moving.
The guards have sealed themselves inside. Search the prisoners for a cut array. And Offworlder, be careful.
Well, I wasn't planning on being careful, but now that you've told me to, I'll be careful. Okay. Why can I not find the things I'm supposed to be? Oh, there we are. Alright. The improvised power pack goes there, and automatically the cutter ray was equipped. I'm going to move stuff around to where I am accustomed to having it.
The cut array is primarily a mining tool, Offworlder.
You analyze
You'll
it
need it for
by holding
harvesting
down right click,
resources.
and then
Using it to cut open ships is an added
drag.
benefit.
open up. Use this for harvesting materials, and also for cutting through bits and pieces of locked doors and whatnot.
The captain's room is blocked by a pentashield. You'll need a pentashield key to pass through. See if there's another way forward.
So here, you get the marker of the cutter. So
Ready your weapon, Offworlder. The guards won't hesitate. Neither should you.
alright, when attacks are quick, light attacks are quick. Multiple light attacks can stagger. Parrying. You want to hold right click to parry and hold right click to block.
Parry your opponents just as their strikes will hit you. This should stagger them, giving you a window of opportunity.
Is there anything in here? Air. Just air. Okay, we've got electricity here. Break out of a staggered state with a left alt to dash. We've got water we can drink. Happen to have some water stations here. I'm not going to say no to a nice little refreshment. A little drinky poo. Heavy and slow blade attacks. Heavy attacks are slow. They break, block, and cause stagger if they land. Shields stop most melee attacks and projectiles. Penetrate the shield, you must stagger the target and use a heavy attack with slow blade.
A swift attack can force your enemy off balance, but only a slow blade penetrates a shield.
Alright, again, come on, come on, come on. Okay. Trying to get the parry just right. That tweedling noise you hear is the heavy attack. The shield penetrating, the slow blade penetrates. Go ahead and heal up a bit more. Combat can feel hit or miss. A lot of times I'll feel like I'm suddenly become the god of death, and other times I feel like I'm a bumbling moron. Ranged combat's pretty straightforward. Melee combat, a little bit less straightforward.
That's the pentashield key. Once you equip it, you can pass through the shield. Get to the captain and activate that transmitter. I'll be there soon.
Thank you, Xantara. Again, let's get the cutscene. Let's get more cutscenes. Again, you might want to watch those for some of the storyline lore. But you don't need to see it here, and I don't need to see it.
Get up, Offworlder. I couldn't wait for you. But now you need to run. The sandworm is coming. Run! Now!
I have run, and there's Big Daddy Shai Halud eating the ornithopter we just read.
You made it, Offworlder.
I
Catch
have
your
to
breath.
harvest plant fiber next.
When the Thopter went down, the storm took us far off course. My leg is bad. I need to lay low and treat it before it gets worse. But fear not, Offworlder. Noctua can cover the ground between us with little effort.
Research.
She will be my eye in the sky so I can continue to
Makeshift
offer my
clothing.
sage advice and keep you on this side of the grave.
Now, just learned 4 recipes.
Figure out how to craft yourself some clothing. That Mauler outfit won't cut it out here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll need granite for building our first house relatively soon. Got everything? Not quite everything yet. It's still being made. Thought there were 5 pieces.
The War of Assassins
there we
has
go.
left
The hat
debris
already went on.
scattered all over this sector. Salvage metal from the wreckage with your cutter ray, and use it to make a Mauler pistol and darts. Don't let the Imperial disdain for ranged weapons lead you astray. Very few people are foolhardy enough to use shields this deep in the sands, and that is to your advantage.
Shields drive the worms crazy. But we're looking for salvage metal. We need a bunch. Somebody started building a house there. Sandworm threat. Basically worm sign. Below the butt of the character, you'll see the squiggly lines that indicate that there is a worm in the area and how interested he might be in you. Alright, we're about halfway done with the metal salvage. This ought to do it. Alright, we'll research the Mala pistol and light darts. Mala pistol. We'll learn the Mala pistol and light dart recipe. Research that. Touchdown, the crowd goes wild. Go to build. Build an improvised Mala pistol. And five darts. Which is actually 150 darts. There's 30 darts in each pack, so we load her up and we're ready to murder. Next up. Did we just hit a level? We're level 2. Dun 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 dun. Craft the respawn beacon. If you die, this is where you'll respawn, at least initially. Respawn beacon made. And we'll drop it right here.
This used to be Fremen territory, but the War of Assassins and the Sardaukar pogrom put an end to that. Now the sector is crawling with scavengers,
Research
fighting
binocs.
over the scraps of Imperium technology left in the wake of this so-called noble war. But that's to your advantage, Offworlder. Allow them to do the hard work of gathering the salvage, and then take it from them.
Scout for
Don't hesitate
scavenger
to kill them all.
kills.
They would do the same to you.
Got that. We'll be needing copper soon enough. Now there is a moisture-sealed cave up there, right there. But I think we need that later. It wouldn't give us what we need right now, which is to find a scavenger camp. A little more salvaged metal. More salvaged metal. Somebody has built a house here, or at least started. We are still looking for... Wrong button. You kind of have to find one using the binocs to open up the next story step. One of those ought to do. Not yet. Still looking. So sometimes the steps can feel a little bit arbitrary and not obvious. So I haven't yet been able to scope one out. I've had this issue in the past where sometimes it just takes a while to find one. We are having no success right now. I will grab the fuel cells. Those. Copper. I am having no luck. So, my advice to new players would be have better luck than me. That ought to be one over there. It should light up when I actually find one. Oh. What happens if you get used to having a suspensor belt, which prevents you from taking damage if you fall from a high place. You get used to just running off of high places. A spoiler, be careful running off of high places. House. Well, that's an encampment. I want to be careful messing with encampments, as they are filled with a lot more dudes, shall we say. And I'm in the sun for too long. You can get your character status like that. Oh, jeez. Lens? Didn't realize that I was running directly into an enormous drop from a height. take a sec to... Did I not? I made bandages. I know I did. So I have to admit that I would find this very frustrating as a new player because I find it very frustrating as a not-new player. See, those are the same ones, but they don't count because that's not a standard scavenger camp, which has between 1 and 3 enemies in it. Also, I believe you are faster if you put away anything you're carrying. So I was carrying the binoculars, put them away, you run faster. I could use some shade about now. Okay, that ought to do. Shade and water can be an issue. You need to be aware of both. Seriously, guys, what the hell? Son of a... I tried to catch hold, and it didn't work. Come on. Seriously, my apologies for this. It shouldn't take this long. I don't know where all the camps are. Am I in some weird part of Haga Basin South that has no camps? I don't know. I sure am not being able to find any. I'll need fuel cells. Eventually. My apologies about this, really. This is not awesome work on their part. There's no way you should have to spend, what, 10 minutes longer running around for a quest you have to do? Even just to find the damn thing? I'm gonna try further to the side. It's ridiculous. Not a great start for me here. If this happens to you, don't let it discourage you. There's a lot of really good game here. You're just not seeing it. And I'll repeat, I am an experienced player. I have gone through the starting. There's another player. I've gone through the starting area half a dozen times. And this is one other time I had a difficulty finding what we're looking for, but not this much trouble. This is very bad. And Funcom should be abashed about this. One of those should have... Are you freaking serious? That should count. There we go. We finally got a check mark. Let's heal up the rest of the way. Probably shouldn't do that in the middle of the desert. Alright, use my ability and kill him. The ability I have basically freezes one and makes them come up to you so that you can shoot them or stab them however you feel like dealing with them. Basically, the fires, an open fire like that is the sign of one of these camps. What was that shit? Pardon my French. Just my frustration is showing. Obviously. This kind of vertical stuff gets a lot easier once you get the trooper, because the trooper has a grappling hook ability that's really good. That's one. There usually is two. One or two. He's got nothing on him. I'll take all of his stuff. Am I full? Oh, why can't I pick that up? That was weird. I am seeing more weirdness here than I've seen in 6 previous characters I've run through. I didn't use my ability.
It's obvious
There, I used my ability on nobody.
Off-worlder, but nothing can truly prepare you for what the desert has in store. Hone your skills and harden yourself to the violence you must do to survive.
Open the skills
Remember,
menu. Learn a new skill.
Arrakis will sharpen you or kill you. Without a still tent, you're easy prey to the sandstorms that sweep across the desert. Those storms tear
Salvage,
flesh
mine,
from
harvest.
bone
Okay,
and
now I need
shred
to
metal
mine
like paper.
more granite.
Unless you'd like to share a cave with some scavengers, your best bet is to build your own shelter. Build a construction tool and place out a sub-fief console. You'll be claiming a portion of the planet's surface for your very own, or rather borrowing it from the Emperor. I'm a little hazy on the specifics.
Almost there. I'd rather have a bit extra so I can make a slightly larger place. Because, hey, you know, you got to impress the neighbors. Don't really have to impress them. All right, that shining light over there is Griffin's Reach. I would like to build relatively close to that.
Huh?
As that is the trade post for this area, and eventually also a flight point you can fly to. We have a little bit of worm sign there. You can see at my butt. When you're running in the desert, and later on when you're driving in the desert, before you can fly in the desert, you always want to go basically hard rock to hard rock, not the cafe. All right. The basic construction kit includes all of these components and the object to create them. We will craft a construction tool. And I almost never use the binoculars. Let's see. Oh. I had a bandage on him. Didn't do him any good, but they had one. Take all the goodies. Let's see. This is pretty close. We'd rather not have the respawns there shooting at us every time we pop out of the ground. But this ought to be okay, I think.
Congratulations. You are now the proud owner of an Imperial sub-fief.
I am.
More of a sub-fief. But it's enough for now. Get your construction tool out and get cracking. It's not a shelter without walls and a roof.
Okay, we can't build any further inside. There we go. Walls next. I think I'd like some windows, so yeah, we'll go with that one. A door seems like a good idea. And a roof. And just like that, almost. We're almost there. I don't really have to move it because it's already sheltered, but fine. You have to right-click to change what you're doing with the item. Build, piece picker, which allows you to copy a piece, move, repair, or demolish. This, we'll just move it there. Next, I think he's going to want us to build a generator. Yep. Constructor interact small storage, fuel power generator. Storage. Generator. Drop the fuel cells we have. If you hit F, that's a quick deposit, which will put anything that will fit in there. Actually, it'll put anything that was already in there in. Or in the case of the generator, it'll put fuel cells.
The sub-fief console comes with an automatic shield system that will
And
keep
the shield
your base
is up,
safe
so
from
we
the
no longer, our base
sandstorms.
will not take any damage.
Just keep the generator fueled, or the storms will tear at your
from
walls.
storms.
And it goes without saying, don't build on open sand. Seal your base, off-worlder. Maintain good water discipline, and it will keep you alive. You've done well licking flowers and sucking sap, but you need a consistent source of water. And the best source out here is blood.
I need more salvage.
Extract it, store it, refine it, and drink it. Raw if you're really desperate. And don't mind throwing up.
You can
Actually,
drink water.
don't
Drink
drink it.
blood
Unless you really have
to
to.
counteract the effect of thirst to some degree, but it will reduce your maximum health. This guy has not yet respawned, so I can steal his metal. I have enough metal. We'll make a exsanguination kit. That's one of the ways you get water. Take the blood and cleanse it. We will research. Basic exsanguination kit. We will craft the blood extractor. And if we've got the mats, which we do, I like 2 blood sacks. Gives you enough gathering capacity to fill out the blood filter. Kill scavengers and extract 1,000 mils of blood. Don't suppose he'd have been kind enough to have resurfaced now, really? That would be helpful. No. And his body's gone. Chests will recycle after a time. and mobs respawn. Someone said 6 to 8 minutes. I have no idea if that's true. I don't remember, someone else had mentioned what the respawn on pardon me, on chests was, but I don't remember what they said, even if it was accurate. Always like to quickly heal up before I start, looting the bodies of whatever might be on them, or in this case, in them. Schematic research. Grab the stuff out of their chest. Anything else here? Doesn't. Whoop, whoop, whoop. That is. Pardon me. Come on. There we go. Sometimes you gotta change your angle a little bit. Another new player. Or new character, anyway. Maybe not a new player. I'm not a new player by any means. Only real problem I've had so far, one you might have as well, is finding the area that you could scout the baddies. I need to hydrate. He needs to hydrate. Both of us are up to a third of the hydration. Research the blood purifier. And build the blood purifier. We use the construction tool for that. It's Q and E to change the tabs. There is also, in an act of user interface malpractice, you can change tile sets up here if you have additional tile sets. And that's Z and C. You'll note Z and C, which is at the top, is at the bottom of your keyboard, and Q and E, which is at the bottom, is at the top of your keyboard. This is terrible design. We are in the refinery business right now, so use it, deposit the blood.
You're probably feeling it by now, Offworlder. Spice.
2
it's
liters
everywhere
of blood.
on Arrakis.
That'll give us 400
the air,
milliliters
the sand, the blood.
20%
It prolongs life,
of the
expands
water and blood we
consciousness,
get out. The
and
next tier of
triggers
blood
some
purifier
very
gets 40%.
vivid dreams.
And we are about to trip balls. We're going to have a spice hallucination. I will skip through this again. Stuff you will want to watch, but I've seen before. I believe now we have a quest to find the first trial of Akal. There are 7 of them. Although I've also heard 8. There are definitely 7 as far as the story is concerned. There may then be an 8th after. I'm not sure. They will unlock certain things. All right, next, follow your inner sight to the first trial of Akal, which is back here. Don't suppose we've got any water yet, do we? We've got a little. I'll go ahead and drink it. Not much, but that was a goodly little bit. Open the door, please. Open the pod bay door, Hal. We have this guy back again. No, but we can take some of this shit. Pardon my language. We are 560 meters away. I will catch some shade before I start the longer trek. Again, water and sun. You have to keep track of these. Now, I could try and go diagonally across, but I'm going to go horizontally and vertically. Because the longer you are running across open sand, the more likely it is the Shai-Hulud is going to show up and eat you. Inner sight has revealed the path. Follow it to the first trial of Akal. These guys are probably not going to be happy with me. I don't want to get too close. Alright, now we head south. I have, to date, not yet been eaten by Shai-Hulud on any of my characters. 3 in the beta, and 3, now 4 alive. About 300 meters away. Getting close to the badness of the heat. See if we can crouch down here and get out of the sun. Yes. Again, if your exposure goes up to red, you want to get into the shade pretty much pronto. Get it. It's going up again. Why is it going up? Why is it going up? It ought to be going up. I'm parched. So, we've got shade. Somebody has been very nice. There are people who will leave stuff here after they've abandoned their home, and you can loot it all. So if any of these really floated my boat, I am sorely tempted, but you may not have this, so I don't think I should have this. I'm attempting to make a good example. So here, we'll hydrate with the water from the dew plants. Here's Shai-Hulud, somewhere relatively close. He's that sort of rumbling, bubbling sound that you get in your stomach. Which has a name, by the way. The name is Borborygmus. Single is Borborygmus, the plural is Borborygmi. Really, I'm not making that up. I know it sounds like I'm making it up. I'm not making it up. So, this is a former Fremen site. The Fremen, as in the book, the Sardaukar start exterminating the Fremen anywhere they can. Here, they have done enough of a job to drive the Fremen out of this area. Excuse me. Presumably, the Fremen are in the south. I've entered the ancient cave. Walk mode is on, and now, time for me to go tripping serious balls. Again, I'll skip the cutscene. I will show you the play here. Pardon the yawn. Old man has had such a rough day. It involved waking up and pretty much it. Alright, ghostly figure will now pop up and talk to me with some lore stuff. Basically recounting the path of the Fremen, their past, as it led them eventually to Arrakis.
Is a fearful thing. Do you understand? Our God gave us the burning eyes skies of Alba
So I've done the
and the words
first 6
of
of
the
these
Kitab al-Ibar
on my main character.
rest in black shade. Be like
And there, a lot of them are sort of puzzle-like, and this one is sort of like that. You gotta play hide and seek with the glowing eyes of the sun, sort of. And if you spend too much time, you evaporate and it moves you back a little to one of the sort of save points. Crouch down. Ah, there she comes again.
We began our wandering. We suffered until suffering was a thing we came to know within our souls. Arrakis is suffering. When we found it, we were home.
Come on, you're feeling tired. You want to close your eyes? There you go. I think we're across. Safe, but that's safe for sure. Huh?
On Harmontep, we were made to suffer.
Armatep is one of the planets that the Fremen occupied.
They denied us
Path
the
through
heart.
space.
Never to forgive, never to forget. The weight of a kindly God is a fearful thing. Did not God give us the burning sun to defy? Suffering leads to defiance.
Suffering leads to defiance.
Where does defiance lead?
Defiance leads to a game and program on the Sci-Fi Channel. That's an old guy reference. Although Defiance the game is back as of a couple of months ago. Returned from the dead. Somebody licensed it from Gamago and it's back available for play. Have you ever played Defiance? Good shooter. A little dated.
Ibn Qutayba.
Ibn Qutayba.
Defiance leads to thought. Who is it that thinks? Those who suffer. Ibn Qutayba. Who is it that thinks?
Those who suffer.
Those who suffer. Remember Harmontep. Be la Kaifa.
We'll, again, skip the cutscene. And I'm going to AFK for just a second. Refill my cup while it loads in.
Still there, off-worlder? Your signal drifted for a moment. No matter. A thought occurs. When the Sardaukar began their purge, many Fremen were slaughtered. The ones that were not abandoned their caves, leaving valuable resources behind. Valuable resources that just might contain the makings of a still suit. Take what you need. Their ghosts will not object.
All right, we need to find a moisture-sealed cave, which are labeled on the map with the little orange cave icon, conveniently. Oh, not that way. This way. Let's see. No, they got them over there. Scavenger camp. Keyhole Rock should be very close here. Let's hydrate. I'll let them have it. They started. Juicy! This is not a water-sealed cave, however. It's an intel location. So these are usually filled with good numbers of mobs. So since we are on a bit of a clock, intel is what you need for research. So I'll have to locate a moisture-sealed cave. Oh, there was one back where we started. Nope. They'll be in a rock face with a sort of glowy appearance. We are a little bit low on water. We'll grab that if we can. You can spot some of the little flowers. Looking for those right now is my biggest priority. I would like to harvest the thing that's behind us. Ah, there we go. Hydrate. Shielded NPCs. What the? I didn't realize. I thought, oh, okay, I didn't take a good enough look. That is not a player location. That is an NPC location. I should have paid more attention. This is going to give us some armor plating. Salvage metal. Looking for a sealed, dew-sealed, moisture-sealed cave. Should be one.
Who's that?
That isn't one. That's not one. Hydrate as much as we can. Yeah, this isn't one. This is another larger sort of base. Frankly, because we're, like I said, on a bit of a clock. Looking for a moisture-sealed cave specifically. Really, they should have populated these areas a bit more generously with the things you needed, whether it's the moisture-sealed cave or the camp previously. See, Shai Hulud is 700 meters to the north. Well, that was where the area around where we started. We know there was one over there. I understand that you want to create the feeling of scale. I got no problem with that. But with water being an issue and for some part of the player base, a lot of frustration in trying to find the things they want you to find. I'm not sure they shouldn't have made this area a bit easier. I think it's above me. Right above me. Do. Not appear to be there. Where is it? Where, oh, where is the moisture sealed cave? Yeah, it should be right below me. Yeah, two entrances, both of them behind me and I think below me. Compelled them to come up to me and stand there while I knife them out. That was me using my Bene Gesserit ability. Much to their regret. That's Compel. The other one I have is basically a very fast sprint for a distance, an extremely fast sprint for a distance. But it does also alert Shai Hulud to you, so you want to be careful using it on open desert. Open sand, I should say. If you're in the rocky areas, fine. Alright, return to the base and drink water from the blood purifier. Research the fabricator. Base. 600 meters. We'll get some more granite in case we want to enlarge the place. How are we doing? we're about 2/3 full. The inventory has 35 slots for items or stacks of items. And then it also has a V or volume number or mass number. It's not entirely clear. It basically functions as both. I am kind of running in the middle of nowhere. Whoops, we definitely don't want to be running in the middle. Will I get myself eaten? I feel parched. We're still only mild worm sign. There's basically 3 stages to worm sign. This is mild. Then there's the orange, where it gets a lot more wavy. And then there's the red, which is whoop, whoop, whoop. Somebody's coming to eat you. I'm going to... Oh, I was going to attack this mob over there, but this person certainly killed him. And I won't, be a jerk and open the chest and take their loot. Although I think the chest loot is for everyone. It's not shared, it's individual. Not positive. Let's grab some water, because we know we happen to have in our backyard some water plants. We go back in, we drink water from the blood purifier. And we will drop in, 4 liters? 4 liters. Which means once that's done, it'll give us 800 milliliters. I feel better. We'll now research the fabricator. Think 3D printer on steroids. And we'll now build it. Construct or interact with a fabricator. We have done that. Next up, make the still suit. Fabricate a complete scavenger still suit. Let's see, it requires, I think, 6 micro sandwich. Yeah, 6 and enough plant fiber. We have it all. Let's make all the pieces. The advantage of the still suit, now, it doesn't offer a lot in the way of protection. It does give you additional heat protection, and it recovers some of the water you lose, so that you can drink from catch pockets in the still suit. So, what I have found very useful, I'm not sure if everyone does this or not, is to, when just running around doing stuff, wear the still suit. If you're going into a place where you know you're going to be in combat, not just like one of the little camps with 1 or 2, scavengers, put on the armor. So I always carry a set of armor with me, wear the still suit until I'm going into a combat zone, like an instant space, like a wrecked spaceship or an Imperial testing center. Pick those up, and we will wear them.
Impressive, Off-worlder. Just remember, if you didn't connect the tubes between the caths and the thigh pads just right,
Catheters.
you'll be drinking your own liquefied feces. And that does not count as hydration, by the way. I have good news, Off-worlder. My leg has recovered enough that I will risk it to move forward. I know a place in your sector where we can meet. Craft a survey device so you can figure out how to get there and join me.
Right, we don't need the Mala stuff. We don't need the makeshift stuff, even though it has better armor. For instance, the legs, 11 armor. Bad example. The head, 11 armor. This head, also 11. Okay, so not really any better, but this has blade mitigation, and this doesn't. So as an example, this combat stuff, so to speak, it's probably worth holding on to. The Maula stuff, not. I'm going to step outside. I'm just going to drop it on the ground.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
The apex of the Coriolis storm will hit Arrakis in 9 hours. They were supposed to have the Coriolis storm last night, and I think it did come in, but they had some server problems, so I think they're rearranging stuff for tonight. Not positive about that. Let's see, where do we want things? Ammo there. No, money there. Well, let's drop. We actually want to keep some of that on us so we can make bandages. It ain't glamorous, but kind of necessary. All right. And we are keeping these for armor. We will drop this off into the power generator. You can get this stuff back out, by the way. If you go to manage storage, you can see we've got 129. Basically, each of these lasts good for an hour. So we've got 5 days worth of fuel cells in there right now, I believe. Why windstorm? Why? Good question. Keep in mind there are two kinds of windstorms. There's the regular windstorm, which pops up and can kill you. And then there's the Coriolis storm, which, when everything's working correctly, pops up once a week, changes the way everything looks, as everything's sort of hazy and has sand blowing through it. And if you were there for the Coriolis storm, lightning starts striking the ground like crazy. And it completely rearranges and destroys anything left in the deep desert area. I need to research the small ore refinery. That's the chemical, that's the ore. There we go. We now need to build it. You cannot build on uneven ground, sadly. Refined copper ore. 24 ingots now cooking. Okay, so what we're going to do next will shock and surprise you. I should have enough stone. Let's change it to demolish. And back to build. Have the interface facing in because it's the interface. Too bad having a little more space in your house isn't this simple in the real world. I mean, I could probably go ahead and, build upstairs, but I think my upstairs neighbor might object. And as soon as we close it off, we'll all be water sealed again. You can see in the upper or the lower left, just above the water, it'll say, boom, water sealed. That means the house is now, I no longer lose water when I'm in the house, and the shield is up so it won't take damage from a storm. Research the surveying kit. Yes. Respawn beacon. Surveying kit. Surveying kit. And fabricate a survey probe and a probe launcher. Probe launcher. Probe. Now what you'll have to do, you have to get to a high place You load the survey tool, you shoot it, and it will scan the entire map area and show you all the important stuff. So for instance, we've got this part already scanned, but there's a whole bunch more of Haga Basin South that this will scan for us, including there's a shipwreck over here and an Imperial research station here, which are very important. We will grab.
Did you get a probe made? Good. Static discharge from the sandstorms makes map data extremely unreliable on Arrakis. But if you can get it high enough, a handheld probe can gather enough local data to give you a snapshot of the region. Climb somewhere high and fire off the probe. Just don't let the Sardaukar spot you.
You're not the boss of me, Xantara. Kind of, sort of is, really. I do want to make a few more Healy kits. I always like to have more heal kits than I need. Alright, so we need to climb to a tall place, and it'll tell you if the place you're at is tall enough. And try to launch. It'll tell you how many more meters you need. This probably will be good enough. But getting to heights is much easier once you get the trooper training and you get access to the grappling hook, which is awesome. So for instance, if I bust out and load it and try to launch it, I need to be 12 meters higher. If I can get there. This may be level enough that I can take a bright breather here. It is. I need 1 more meter. So the bars on the lower left, the top one is your stamina. The red one is your health. The bottom one is the amount of energy in the power pack you currently have, which is used by things like cutter rays and stuff like that. There we go. We have fired it up. It'll take 20 more seconds. It scans. You can see these little beams will sweep through as it's scanning the entire area. One where they really don't want you to... Yeah, exactly. They don't want me to go to space. I'm climbing into space.
Very good. I'm going to the Griffin's Reach
And
trade
now
post.
it has
Come
opened
and
the
find me
entire
there.
map area.
Just remember to be
You
careful.
can do this in
crossing the
every
sands.
area
Move from
up
rocky
here.
ground to
You can
rocky
even do it
ground.
in each of the
Learn how
81
far
areas
you
in
can
the
move on
deep desert.
sand before the worm comes. And remember, look both ways before you
So
cross the
there
desert.
is the wreck of the Alcyon. There is Imperial Testing Station number 2. Alright, I have to travel to Griffin's Reach, which, as I have mentioned, is why I like to build relatively close to Griffin's Reach. It just makes a whole lot of stuff a little bit easier. Oh, that's the package I dropped. Ah. There we go. Now, I won't need this again until I move to the next northern area to scan it. I don't think it serves any other purpose than basically scanning a map section once. So we'll drop it off in here. We are off to Griffin's Reach. I will also note, directly ahead of me, above my head, you can see this rock that has what looks like a big old hammerhead. Yeah, that's called the hammer. And just to the east of that is the second of the trade posts, called the Anvil. And those are two places you'll want to know. You'll again, just a piece of, in my experience, advice is you want to build relatively close to the trade post. It is less of a factor once you get your sand bike, which, by the way, they're called sand bikes, but they're not bicycles. They have 3 treads. They're tricycles. This has been my TED Talk. Trade posts are particularly easy to find at night, as their beams light up sort of a fog around them.
Offworlder, it seems my fame precedes me even here, at the arse end of the Haga Basin. Your Emperor's lackey, Count Fenring, has put an obscene bounty on my head. And while I'm flattered to be his great boogeyman, the added attention is making life complicated.
Complicated.
Take a look around. There's a contract on the board that might interest you. But be careful. Civilized men are not to be trusted.
Here's one for 1,000,000 Solaris for Xantara's head. The guy who was just talking to us. We'll take that. I haven't taken on any other character. It vanishes after you take this one. He wants 40 copper ore. How much copper ore am I carrying? I'm carrying no copper ore. This is the Trooper Trainer. This is why you don't want to choose Trooper as your starting skill tree. Not that it's bad, but because you can open it up with this guy very quickly. You need you to kill 3 dudes. I would benefit. Next.
But don't despair.
I want to learn.
Then listen close. For the sake of my... Who knows? Track them down. Do this for me.
I kill the 3 dudes, come back to him. Boom. It opens up the Trooper tree. None of the other trees will be opened in, I don't know, a dozen hours. On the other trees, the other skill trees. I mean, you'll open the Planetologist, but that's not a starting. So that's why you don't choose Trooper. Not because it's not good, but because it's so easy to open. So fast to open. Deliver the copper ore. All right, well, there was some copper. We don't want to track Xantara's head, because we're probably not getting that. Touch of Civilization. That's the one we want to track. The user interface, the questing interface, are terrible. I'm not going to... It's my biggest complaint about the game. I'm not going to mince words. It is a console-centric piece of crap on PC. Hope that was straightforward enough that everyone can understand. I think that they... Funcom has done a huge disservice. Was that 43? I think I needed 40. Do 40? Doesn't say how many. I'm pretty sure it was 40. I think Funcom's done a huge disservice to the PC players by implementing the crappy console UI compromise instead of giving us a real PC UI. I can give you a couple of quick examples. There's no text search for schematics. You can only sort by newest and alphabetical. In the inventory, there's no little checkbox. To make items in your inventory, make sure you don't accidentally sell or salvage them. To my mind, those are ludicrous that we have to put up with that. But we do. They're using this to fund the console development. You'd think they'd want to get this UI right. Hire another UI programmer. It's $150,000 a year. You'll make 150,000 PC users much happier. If it was 40, it was 40. I will get 150 XP, 1,500 Solaris, and it will award a unique tool at the end. I'm kind of a unique tool myself. There's always text afterwards. I have, my next step is to buy a unique Hydra Literjon schematic from a merchant. A Literjon is just a water jug. This is a unique one, so it carries a liter and a half. But it's not a liter and a half, John.
Hey, stop. I know the face of it. So perhaps you'll give us the courtesy of who you... Not a talker, eh? Name's Mir. I do
Hi,
the
Mir.
trading and the talking.
There's the Hydra
My silent
Literjon
partner
Mark
here
1.
does the fighting.
1,500
And there's the
Solaris.
contract board in the corner if
have it.
you need work.
I don't think you can read it anywhere other than your home. Pick up scrap metal. Reach the wreck of the Alcyon. Acquire Holtzman Amplifier 1. Holtzman Amplifier, deliver it, and...
You're going to find, Offworlder, that Arrakis is a planet of unique opportunity. No former prisoner would ever have access to the military technology of the great houses.
All right, our next quest
But
is
with
to go
the
here,
war,
to the Alcyon.
chaos reigns. Ships crash.
We're
and
then
are
going to
shut
finish it,
down.
and there are 3
Sometimes
more quests
spilling
here. That's to open up the
military-grade
trooper tree. You need
materials
to
onto
kill a
the
guy here,
sands.
kill a guy there,
The
kill a guy
Fremen
down
know
here,
the
and he has
ways of
2
the
friends.
desert and how to do a lot with very little. The Imperium, on the other hand, have infinite resources and the production capacity of countless worlds. Plunder them, Offworlder. There is a shipwreck near here. Slip inside and claim your share of the spoils.
There's another unique blueprint, or maybe 2 you can get out of there. One for a very nice knife. Come on. There you go. Grab some more. We'll head home very briefly. Then to the Alcyon. A man's home is his castle. Since we're a little low, might as well hydrate from here because it's free. That can only get you up to 1/3 hydrated. But if we come in here, I don't think we have the mats to make the Literjon yet. Right, we need more micro sandwich fiber and spice infused copper dust, but we can research it. But what we can do is come over here and drink what used to be blood. Okay, we still have some water left in here. We'll go ahead and drink that too. You'll notice the hydration bar on the left. Oops, on the left. There's a smaller bar, thinner, narrower bar to the left of it, and that is the water that's currently in the catch pockets of your still suit. All right, let's see. To camp. Well, I'm in transit. Certainly won't do me any harm to do them lots of harm. Juicy. If you would do a trip to Arakeen, do you need to pay both ways? No. It's $2,500, and that includes the return trip. So at least it's got that going for it. It's more expensive than it should be or needs to be, but at least you only have to pay once. Let's put that away and apply a little bit of old-fashioned medicine to ourselves. There is a quest that requires you to fly to one of the two social spaces, either Arakeen or Harko. And even if you have declared for the other guys, you can still go to both locations. This is a new complication. You see that ship up there with the beams on the ground? That is a Sardaukar ship. They're looking for people like us. If they spot you with their spotlight, they will freeze you in place and drop mercenaries who intend to kill you. They're pretty good at it. My suggestion, if you get frozen by a Sardaukar ship, is to run away from the bad men with guns. Now, later on in the game, yeah, you need to go to Arakeen to do the bank stuff. Yes. They want you to go there, pay your taxes, and put at least 200 credits into the bank. You're just wondering if you needed to bring a lot of money. No, you don't. But you can use money in the bank for a lot of things, but not everything. For instance, if you die, all of your money is gone, and you need to catch a ride back to where you died so you can kill the guy who killed you and get your money back, you have to pay cash for the ornithopter trip. Why? I have no idea. But it will not accept money from your bank for that. Why? Again, I don't know. The bank should either not be work at all, or it should work correctly, in my particular estimation. All right, we are now close to the wreck of the Alcyon. You can see we've got minor worm sign. When I get a little closer, I'm going to activate the big Bene Gesserit sprint. Activating. It is not handled elegantly, I agree. Unfortunately. It needs to be fixed. Basically, anyone except other players, and maybe even other players, should accept money in the bank. All right, the wreck of the Alcyon. I am going to swap into my quote-unquote combat gear. They didn't hear my shot go whistling by them. Is there another one? Anyone else want to play? Anyone else? Makes sense that you'd be able to use the bank funds. I agree. And I'm going to hope that it's a mistake that they're... Oh, there was. It's a mistake that they're going to remedy. There was a third one. As like last night, I died to something I'd never seen before in-game, and I couldn't fly back because all of my cash was there on my body. I hadn't left. So now I'm trying to leave at least 2,500 credits in my house at all times, which feels silly and perhaps unnecessary, but I am still doing I don't think there are more than 3 out here, but there are more inside waiting. I'm sure they'll be glad to see me. I did want to make some more light darts. Found a knife that allows you to, take blood without a blood extractor. Yes, it does take some, but generally you'll want the blood extractor as well to get everything out. At least for now, but it is a nice addition for sure. All right, it does not seem like a player has been in here for a while, because this door is still locked. Now, I think my Mala pistol does 4.8 damage. The one I just looted does 7.2 damage. That's more damage. So I have swapped into the looted Mala pistol, because it does like 50% more damage than the one I was using. Now granted, this one has a lot of wear and tear on it, but I don't really care. Sometimes you forget to take the blood extractor, so it's handy. Yeah, it certainly is a bonus. It's not a huge deal, but there's no reason to say no. All right, there's the quest item I needed, the Holtzman amplifier. There's some lore there, but the big chest is up here. Big chest with fat loot and also a number of bad guys. Again, we have a sealed door. Now, usually there are, excuse me, 3 mobs down there waiting for me. How do you mine carbon ore? It says you're unable to mine it. You need the next tier of cutter ray. A new tier of cutter ray is often needed when you get to the new tier of materials. Maybe just the one? Okay. We need the purple identification band to get through that. And we did get the blueprint for a really nice dagger. So we've got everything we needed out of here. But I do need more copper, it says to me. So we'll keep our eye open for copper as we make our way back. Mark II? Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the mark is. But if you're currently using a Mark I, if you look for the advanced information by hitting Alt when you have selected an item, it will tell you what things on a harvester or on a cutter, it'll tell you what things it can harvest. So for instance, if I mouse over mine, you can see it can yield copper, granite, and salvaged metal. Nothing higher than that. So the next one then would be iron. And then the next one above that would be for carbon to make steel, to turn your iron into steel. Yes, I believe that is the case. I'm on. I think the basic tiering is improvised, Mark 1, Mark 2, and so on. So in this point, I am in improvised. Mark 1 would be for iron. Mark 2 would get you carbon. Mark 3 gets you the aluminum. Yeah, the aluminum equivalent. And yeah, I'm not sure at what tier you get access to erythrite. All right, well, we have gone through the combat part. I'm going to go back to my other clothing. Back to the still suit. That is the Sardaukar and their searchlights. They suck. Just, I want to be clear. If I wasn't clear about that earlier, they suck. That's a risk that only shows up at night. I got the copper where I need it, I think. Yeah, there we go. So we're going to research scavenger rags, which are better armor than what we're wearing. Oh, another one. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. A Karpov 38, which is kind of a rifle. And we'll have, and a Kinjal. I'll have to research that. I will not be making that because I have a better knifey weapon. The one I just got the unique blueprint for. Been almost got by them twice. Yeah, oops. Is he gonna start shooting at me? Dude, don't start nothing, won't be nothing. I've been locked up 2 or 3 times. First time I tried exchanging a couple of shots and saw the amount of damage they were doing and decided, nope. I know later in the game people will intentionally bait them. They will intentionally walk into the fields to get the mercenaries to be lowered from the ships so that they can kill the mercenaries for their bodies. To put their bodies in death stills to get the water out. It's a little dark. Not gonna lie. Yeah, there it is. My understanding is death stills are very, very effective sources of water. You drop a body in one, an hour later you get a boatload of water. I think this is armor and salvaged metal. Yeah, armor and salvaged metal. I don't like the Sardaukar. I avoid them for obvious reasons. I don't know how much of a risk they really are. If you stand and fight, they obviously are, but if you run, I've gotten away without too much trouble. How are we doing? We're at 123 of 175 volume of stuff. $570 meters to my lovely home. One thing you'll have to get used to is desert travel is really, really slow when you're running from rock outcropping to rock outcropping. It gets a lot faster. Things open up a lot once you get your trike, your desert trike. your sand trike. But again, as the distances you need to travel get longer, again, you will start feeling the pinch of how much time you have to spend in transit. And then, eventually, I understand, you get an ornithopter. I have not yet gotten an ornithopter. My friends, who has been a little bit more aggressive in his playtime, a little more active, got his last night or the night before. Bastard. I mean, congrats, Senator. Well done. Honey, I'm home. Deposit 17 fuel cells. If you're not familiar, you hit F, quick deposit. Anything that is already in the container will get added. So, because we already had a lot of these items in the container, I hit F and it auto-deposited all of them into their matching stacks. It's awesome. All right, we want to learn the Caliph's drinker. We can have enough spice-infused dust to make both. Maybe not. Anyway, we will research the schematic. Research scavenger rags. Scavenger rags, 4 pieces. The Karpov 38. And the Kinja. Fabricate a full set of scavenger rags. These ones, I do believe. Because we already have the scavenger still suit. So this is the scavenger tier of armor items. So they'll be better than the armor I was wearing. What am I? I'm missing copper ingots. I need more copper ingots. Let's make 50. But this is, in a lot of ways, this is the core gameplay loop. Craft, acquire plans for the next tier, acquire materials for the next tier, craft, go into installations like the testing station we'll be going to shortly, shipwrecks, things like that, NPC areas like the camps, which usually hold 1 to 3 baddies, the moisture sealed caves, which hold usually 1 to 3 baddies, the sort of larger bases, which will probably have like a dozen guys scattered around through it, and you get additional intel from those, and intel is used to learn new recipes. That's the core gameplay loop, more or less. We need the chest piece. We have got enough for the chest piece. So this will be better armor than we were using. I try to keep everything in certain places so that it's easier for me to find. So my armor will always go here in the second row, all 5 pieces. When I swap into the armor from the still suit, I'll have an open slot that will usually get filled up. I like to have something obvious as where my standard stuff ends. I'll show you what I mean in a sec. I'm going to drop the junk I no longer need. This is the makeshift stuff I had made. Later on, you will get a salvager, but the salvage from stuff like that isn't worth holding them onto. So in this case, I've got the copper ingot. Most of the time what I have there is extra Heelys. So I know that I have 13 objects in my inventory. Everything down here is other stuff that I'll be looting. This is a quest item. Quest items do not take up regular spots. They get their own spots at the bottom. Found something called flower sand. Yes, that is correct. Flower sand will be used later on. It takes, I think, 5 of it to make a silicone block. A silicone block is another crafting material used in armor, I know, clothing stuff. Flower sand later on, you'll get something called a compactor. When you fire a compactor at flower sand out in the desert, it will make little piles of it, and that allows you to harvest it a lot more quickly. Flower sand can be spotted. It looks like there's a little white mist floating up from the sand, and that is usually an indicator of flower sand. And yes, it is a good way of getting the attention of Shai Hulud. He's not so shy about that. I'm such a wit. I need more storage. And my improvised Mala pistol can go in there because I'm using... I also need to create the Karpov, that's right. I needed to make the Karpov 38. It's a gas-powered assault rifle, and it will take the place of the Mala pistol, which I'll no longer be using. It fires a lot faster. Karpov does.
I've crossed the Vermilius Gap, Off-Worlder, and I still haven't shaken my unwanted followers. I'm afraid I must delay our reunion until... well, I fear drastic measures might be required. But fear not, Off-Worlder. You've come this far alone. I'm impressed. You're a long way from that mewling mauler I dragged from the wreckage of the Proteus.
You shouldn't call me mewling, that's just
You'll
me.
need a vehicle to cross the sands to the Paranorth and reach the gap. But vehicles require components that aren't created here on Arrakis. Arrakis has a long history,
Next up is the Imperial Testing
more
Station.
than you might
And
imagine.
it is a test.
Some things, like the Imperial Testing Stations,
I'm going to AFK to
contain
refill
echoes
this,
of
and then
the
we're heading to the
past.
Imperial Testing.
But more importantly, they contain stockpiles of components you'll need. Just be careful. Those old ruins are a beacon for all kinds of scum.
Did Xantara finally shut his big yap? Man, he's blabby. I'm back. Also found something you're unable to live without. That is the shield. Yep, the shield is great. When you first get a Holtzman shield, it changes the game. Be aware, when you're shooting out, your shield comes down. So a lot of times you may want to wait for like them to stop shooting, then you open up on them, like they're, say, reloading or something. Also, it won't protect you from a lot of the knife damage. And the slow falling device, the suspensor belt, yeah, there are a lot of different suspensor belts, and later on you'll get ones that basically allow you to fly. We will deposit the blood that we're carrying. And we'll drink the rest of the water that's in here. And now we're off to the Imperial Testing Station. which is right there. And it's tough. In fact, it's so tough. I'm going to put half of my money away just in case I die. Uh-oh. We've got Shai Halud's sign. Should be fine. It's hard. You almost died more than once. Yeah, it is hard. It is a difficult piece of game content. Absolutely. Now, it kind of depends, because on my first trip in there, somebody else had been through a couple of minutes before, and I went the whole distance without seeing a single bad guy. I had a similar thing happen on my first trip into Imperial Testing Station 10. I commented it on stream. Wow, you know, I when you go through the other one, there's all kinds of mobs and stuff, but nothing here. And I got about 300 meters in, and all the mobs respawned, and I instantly got killed. Don't be me. Imperial Testing Station number 2. And again, as I recommend, if you've got armor, swap into it. You can still drink water from your still suit. You just have to go to the inventory and mouse over the still suit. The last fight in particular in here can be difficult in that it is a shielded mob. Your first shielded mob you really have to face. Also, since I'm here, let's go ahead and make another. Oh. We'll be picking a lot of heal kits up as we're going through, but too many heal kits can't possibly be a bad thing. Alright, there's my Mala. Or sorry, not Mala, my Karpov. The green light there is lore stuff. Again, I do recommend that at least initially you listen to the lore stuff. We'll eventually be able to get in there after we clear out the place. More darts. There are places like this where you can grab a drink. Welcome to Imperial Testing Station number 2.
Welcome to Desert Botanical Testing Station number 2. I am the station supervisor, Dr. Rommel Greer. The ultimate mission of these stations is to find or engineer
there's that purple sealed pentashield over there. That's where we come out.
Arid conditions of Arrakis. A true challenge, as I'm sure any visitor who's traveled.
I think I hear somebody else shooting, in which case I may not have to shoot until I catch up to them. Or water. But you do want to keep an eye looking around. Make sure you don't miss anything. There's a lot of loot. There's a couple of quest items in here that aren't obvious too. Oh, nope. Got one. Got two. Always reload manually when you're done. If you've got the blood sucky device. Keep on sucking until you're full. That's extra water for later. Again, keep your eye open. Crafting materials and money. Got one. Got two. Four. I only thought there were three in there. Four. Did not know you're still able to drink from the still suit. You thought you had to wear it to drink it? No, you can drink it from it. If you mouse over it in the inventory, you'll see there is a drink option. I mean, it wouldn't be a terrible burden to have to put it on, drink, and take it back off again, but it is nice that you have the option. All right, there's a way down, but there's another place we need to go first. There are three. Keep hitting the wrong button. There are three quest objects in this space.
Don't sleep. That's when they come for you. Blow on guards. Don't sleep. They're watching. Find a knife or maybe a hammer. Either would
This
be
is
good,
one of the
but
quest
both is
items.
better.
It is a
Just
poison
don't sleep.
snooper.
Don't sleep. Don't sleep.
So don't sleep, though. Good advice. All right, so that's one of the three quest items. Even though I don't have all the quests yet, if you have the items, you can just immediately turn them in. Whoop. Oh, that's another player. We surprised each other. So I might not have to fight anything the rest of the way except for, like, the boss in the last area. I'm not even sure you have to fight him if he's not there. I don't think you do. Nope, I have no more containers. My two blood pack leader John thingies are full. Over here, where this yellow light is a door that's really, really, really easy to miss. Passive suspensor belt. There's the second quest item we want, the testing rewards, or testing results. And we have equipped the passive suspensor belt. Now we can run off cliffs. And it will kick in and prevent us from taking damage. It'll slow us just before we reach the end. More goodies. Again, these are crafting bits you will want. water. The blue ID band. You need colored ID bands to match the doors. The doors will turn the right color once you can get in. This is the shield guy. Missed me. That's how you kill him. You press right click to block, actually to parry, which sort of stuns him, and then you hit the slow attack where you, instead of fast attacks, you hold the left mouse button down. And you'll do the slow attack that'll get you through shields. And it took, what, 3 full attacks to kill him? Shielded mobs can be very, very difficult, especially early on. I think the third quest item is out here and I missed it. I think it's in this central area on like a table. That's all 3 quest items. So I should have now 4 quest items in my inventory. I do. And... why, thank you. I will take those things off of your body. Your inert corpse. 2. Thanks. And we're back at Imperial Testing Station number 2.
Botanical Testing Station number 2.
Now, as I mentioned, there was a... pentashield we didn't have access to over here. We now have access to. It's down here between the stairwells. I think that was an NPC. In which case I'll have to kill him. Don't want to do it, you know, kind of have to do it. He appears to have run away. Still, I think he was an NPC. And we have finished Imperial Testing Station number 2. That's it. I've done it a number of times, so I made it look relatively easy. The last guy in particular is a tough fight. Got to learning how to fight against shielded enemies is a bit of a chore. Now, we are not quite done yet in this area because the Imperial Planetologist is here and we have something he's looking for. The records. Oh, I forgot I wanted to do something else while we were out there. Okay. We'll get it after we get our bike. So, I'll probably finish this up.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
In 8 hours. That's the big one, the server-wide one, the Coriolis storm. The smaller storms that will arrive in like 2 or 3 minutes, those are the really dangerous ones. Those are the ones that will kill you if you're not in cover. I think up here. the Imperial Planetologist, and this will open up the Imperial Planetologist tree, skill tree. He wants the records that we picked up.
Watch your step, stranger. Those plants are hard to grow out here. And hawk now. You don't look like the scrap rats that swarm around the place. And you don't look like one of the crazies from the lab.
I'm just exploring.
The desert sounds like the kind of thing old Pardo Kynes used to do. Derek Chinara.
I believe Pardo Kynes was Liet Kynes' dad.
And I learned the hard way.
Excellent
Never say
advice,
the
but a
wrong
terrible
thing
thing to
to
learn the
some
hard way.
Cyprian
I would
Ion.
learn
I
from
would
you.
gladly teach you.
What do you need?
You look
I'll
like
accept your
that's easy.
contract.
So
I'll
be
return
careful.
with the manifest.
I hadn't gone very It was unnerving.
I brought you the
I'm
manifest.
not timid by nature, but I didn't want any. You have? That's incredible.
I am pretty
Wonderful.
incredible.
Yes, of course. I haven't forgotten. There. Though I must.
So, we started with the Bene Gesserit skills. We've opened up the Planetologist skills. And also, we just have to kill 3 NPCs and we'll open up the Trooper skills. That's why I don't recommend starting a Trooper. Not because they're not good, but because manually opening the other skill trees, the other 3 starting skill trees, takes a lot more time and effort than the Trooper does. Well, we'll start things off here. We'll increase our cutter ray efficiency by 10%. What else do we have over here? Let's see. Blade damage, 3%. Sure. Where's the teleport? Weirding step. We want weirding step. As we're going to put that in the place of the Bindu sprint. It's really good. Basically, you teleport behind somebody. And, you know, stab them. That was me stabbing. Wasn't very impressive, I know. Manipulate instability. Once an enemy is stunned, staggered, or knocked back, you strike, doing more damage. Okay, that. So you have abilities. The round ones, the circles, are passives. The diamonds are abilities. The octagons are techniques, which basically are up-tiered passives. You can only have 3 techniques. We'll go ahead and grab that one. We only have 1 point left. Let's hold on to that for now. All right, we have completed Find the Mimic film for him. Let's see. The others. I leveled up. That's level 9. Another skill point. More intel points. Research points. Imperial testing stations. Codex is basically information. Planetology. Or as Shroud keeps calling it, planetology. No, it's not the study of planes. It's planets. It's Shroud. Trust me on this. I know whereof I speak. I think I'm going to head straight to Griffith's Reach. Oh, I should show you another thing. Now that we got the suspensor belt, you'll note as I fall, we'll get a little blue swoosh and we won't take any damage. There's the little blue swoosh and we took no damage. That's the passive suspensor belt. It's really, really good. There are active belts that have more abilities and stuff. Personally, I'm a big fan of the passive one for most purposes, as you don't have to worry about it. I like being able to be dumb and not die. Get me out of the baking sun. Not get me out of the bacon sun. Because bacon sounds good. And 2 or 3 of the turn-ins are here. Can't remember for sure. The contract board. The Holtzman amplifier. Micro sandwich fiber and EMF generators. I'm not sure if I have those or not. This is three micro sandwich and 3 EMFs. I don't think I have those. I think right. I have the blue tier items, not the others. I'll need to get those out of storage. What's the other one for? I have one more left, right? The poison sniffer. Who's the poison sniffer for? Cross the gap. Right, need to do that. Wider world, right? It's got to be in here then. Bounty. Vantara's head. I don't think we'll be getting that. Trooper basics. Killed him. Scrap it. What the heck? Oh, I'm confused. What did I need the snooper for? Maybe a quest I don't have yet? I'm not sure. I don't remember what I need the poison for. I'm embarrassed. Frequently. I can see my house from here! I say this all the time in games. That's maybe the first time I've ever actually been able to see my house from there. As you can see, the suspensor belt is really good. Once you get used to it, it's easy to accidentally kill yourself if you don't have one. Okay, we're going to fabricate ourselves a sand bike. Honey, I'm home. Again. All right, we will learn the Emperor's wings. Research schematic. We're going to need 3 of those and 3 of something we ain't got. These are all parts that we could use, but who wants to use used stuff when you can, have something new and awesome? Okay. We have to research the sand bike. First thing. There are 8 parts as part of the research. We're also going to need to research... Oh, I guess that's locked until we spend 1 more intel point. On something. Any intel point anywhere. We unlocked that? We have. That's locked. I guess we have to make it first before we can unlock the vehicle backup tool. Yeah, I guess so. All right, so vehicle. We're going to need the welding torch and welding wire for eventual repairs. We need a power supply. And 3 treads. And an engine. And we need more copper ingots. Sure, we'll make the max. Get cooking. Good looking. I do have a lot of spice infused copper dust. Right. Power supply. First tread. This is essentially the next to the last step where you move on to the next map area. There are a few quests and other things you can do around. I'd certainly recommend that you open up the trooper tree. But I'm going to make the bike and show you the very basics around it and then probably call it an evening. That's the 3 treads. It's not a bike. They call it a sand bike. It's not a bike. Sorry, that's the engine. Currently being made. We need the chassis and the hull. Also going to want the inventory. Because the inventory will allow us to basically deconstruct everything here, our whole house, pile it into our inventory and the ground bike's inventory, the sand bike, and take it to the next area. Get to the next area, you have to build a new home. You build the home, and you abandon this one as part of the story. I think that's everything except the inventory unit. That yet? Can we? We got more copper being spun up, I hope. It's not spinning anymore. There shouldn't be any. There's ingots in there, I guess not enough. Was it not enough? Be enough. Oh, I need 4 more. Well, we can make the bike. Sun's up. Okay. Here's what you do. We have the welding torch in the 8 slot. Bust it out. We're attaching the parts. There it is. That is our first sand bike. Now, research the small chemical refinery. Making fuel. Small chemical refinery. Construct and build. We're a little out of space, so. We need more copper. A lot more copper. It's out of fuel. We can't use this yet if we don't have fuel. It's embarrassing, but there you are. All right. So I'm going to be here for a bit longer until we can get sufficient copper. I want to show you the wheels. Technically, they're not wheels. We need a bunch more copper. I wish I'd grabbed more copper.
There's someone here.
Reveal yourself.
Enemy.
think I'm full on. I am full on juice. Although it's not very sympathetic of me to call it juice, is it? I didn't drop my blood off into the blood cleansing device. But this is actually pretty common. A lot of times you're going to be in the middle of something.
Found.
Tricky. Care to try your luck again? I didn't think so. There do not appear to be anything in the way of copper nearby. Drat. I think I will finish up with some closing comments then. So what you would want to do is you'd get the copper to make the chemical fabricator device. To make a fuel device, you need to then hit F to open up the more menu and then go to the refuel icon and put up, and it would refuel. You don't have to do that very often, but you do have to do it occasionally. Then we would want to go here, here, and here. When you kill the guy here, it opens up the next quest marker here, and then the third one here. This will give us the what we need for the trooper training. That would open the trooper training. And the thing you want here immediately is this one, the sugar wire claw. It's a grappling hook. Not only is it great for traversal, and it's great for traversal, it's also useful for combat. It staggers enemies, it stuns them, so that you can get a drop on them. They get close, you hit them with the claw, stab them. And then after that, you'll finish up and you'll get a quest to go north. And the place you want to go is east of that, the hammer. Basically, it's somewhere over here. And you want to go as close to straight across as you can, because you can get eaten. It happened to a friend of mine. He was crossing on his sand bike with everything he owned, and he got eaten by Shai-Hulud. So be aware. And once you do that, you'll have a quest to go north to talk to some NPCs at the Anvil, which is the station opposite the hammer, and build a second house, and then abandon this one. One word of significant advice. Something I didn't do here. I think it's done for you automatically. When you build that second house, I didn't do it. It's important for you to set it as a respawn location. When you die, you can choose where to res. My friend had not set this as his second location. He'd built his second house and was driving back to pick up all of his stuff before he abandoned this one. He had not set the second one as a respawn location. He died, took him back to the first one, which he had just destroyed. So, that's the last piece of advice. Always set as a respawn location. I forgot to in this case. But I think that is going to do it. The other thing you would want is to make the inventory storage device, which goes here on the back. You can also put a seat there if you want, so that you and the friend can sit and you can drive, or vice versa. And that's when the game opens up and you can move into the second map up here. Here's the line that denotes the border. And so you're going to want to basically go straight north. There's a rock up here, or maybe a little over here. I can't remember for sure. And you're going to want to go as close to as short a distance as you possibly can to reduce the odds, Shai Halud coming, because it can happen. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you found this informative. I should be back in 2 days' time. Today is Tuesday. That would be Thursday. Back on Thursday at the usual time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, middle of the night in Europe, morning in Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. Again, thank you for hanging out. I hope you found this helpful. Take care. Hopefully you'll see me soon.